Hello everyone, and welcome to our next game day 3 for season 6. And I will quickly update the banned units. As always, I have to do this manually while you guys can hear me, because I cannot edit my stuff while the scene is not shown. This is the units we are preparing for. Banned Shenji's Rattan Pikemen and Rattan Vipers has become like a pretty standard thing to do, because Rattan units are actually very, very cost efficient and very game influential, as we saw like in the first game of today, also Rough Justice against APM that I played. And also thanks for the Prime sub, buddy. Raju, thanks a lot, man. I do really appreciate the support. Yeah, Line Rob Van also pretty standard. I do think they are very, very influential on how the games are played, and they are also the only unit that's like massively open tower defense threats in general, so banning them out is often a very good idea. Sheet Maiden ban, I personally do not understand why. I would definitely like to hear Tempest's opinion on it, why they banned the Sheet Maidens out. Because I do think they are overall a solid DPS unit, but they're not changing how the game is played, at least from my point of view. As always, correct me if I'm wrong, if you think you have a different idea about something, or you want to enlighten me with your thoughts. Also, Coco Ban, also pretty standard. That looks like Open Flames, and having the Coco Ban as one of the Flames counters makes it more convenient to play it, so it will most likely come down to good hero dives and musket gameplay to get them down. Also, favorites, my two favorite FDPs in the chat, greetings by the way. Also Queen, Mad, welcome. Temple as well as the first one. Welcome. I do hope we are getting the lobby very soon. 4 minutes to go. Until then, we can speak about the unit saves a little bit. I think Star Wars save, I think it's one of these like backbone units like a lot of teams trained with, and they kind of rely on it to synchronize their gameplay, because with Star Wars, especially like maybe less experienced teams, with Star Wars they have kind of a signal unit, like a unit that's taking the front line and is putting the team into the fight position. And Star Wars do really reliable put like your team into that position, why not dying, why decent damage. So I think like saving them gives a lot of security. Even if I think it's like maybe on a very high skill level, they're not really worth a save, because there are other shield units like Spear Sergeants that can do a kind of similar job. So yeah, I'm maybe not like the biggest fan for high, like for like the first division games to ban or save Star Wars, but I definitely do see it in the lower divisions. Also on the other side, Paladin save is also one of these saves where I feel like it's maybe more for distraction than like really getting a crazy value out of a certain unit, because I also do think they are not that game breaking. Also, guys, I do have to say sorry as always. I need to disable my sounds, so you guys are not getting full PTSD from Discord pinging and ringing, and you are consistently questioning yourself why you're not getting messages. To one of my favorite FDPs, I would always touch you inappropriately under consent. That's no problem. I got you there. And also, Queen, thanks a lot for donating a sub. I do really appreciate the support. By the way, Queen is still by far like biggest super channel. massive for this continuous support over all the time, even if I did not stream as much of my gameplay in the past half year. Like partially it is because I'm a little bit angry at the company, of course, for how they run the game. And the other thing is like I'm not like into playing the game so much outside of my scrims, so I never really get the chance to get a good stream going. And that's something I only want to provide you guys, a good stream. So yeah, let's hope we are getting finally the lobby set up. Dear team captains, dear organizers, yeah, we got a lobby where you guys can still watch into. Okay, I do hope they provide us with the password as fast as possible. Okay, they do not have a password for us currently, so I do hope we are getting it very soon so we can start into the game. For me, basically, this game is the highlight of the Rustic division. I think from all these teams, I think that's like for me the most anticipated match. I mean, because there's a lot of friends of mine on the board, so I'm really interested in seeing, what these guys are cooking. And also, I do think it's two interesting teams that can give us already pretty solid gameplay, considering that we are here in the lowest division. And we are in the lobby, so I can finally move us over to the lobby screen so you guys can inspect the rosters. And also, thanks a lot, Funky Barman, for the follow. I do really appreciate your support, buddy. Matt doesn't want to play. Oh, trust me, Matt. I also had, I logged in today and was like, yeah, I'm playing official match today. And I need to warm up a little bit because I'm not playing the game as much as I used to. And yeah, I played one round of ranked. That was okay, I guess. I think I had an MVP, but I didn't feel like I'm totally turbo clapping, even if the lobby was not the greatest, like skill wise. And then the second match, I got turbo clapped with a very, in general, bad team against Prophetic and it felt like two other full stacks. Fully just playing around his cannons, and it's so. I mean, if you ever played against such a team that is just blobbing up 15 people around cannons, while having a team that does not know how to pull out the right range, play the right flanks, etc. You know it, guys. It's terrible. It's boring because you're just seeing this slow snake of cannon blob walking up to your objective, and you know no one is trying to do something about it. So yeah, I was turbo frustrated. I logged off the game, went into practicing Counter-Strike, and played one TFT to prepare me for my match. So yeah, that was my routine. So yeah, I can feel you there. I do hope that these teams here are better prepared than me for my game today. I mean, one of the teams is NoScrim, so I anticipate they are maybe not scrimming the most. And maybe also not the craziest when it comes to preparation. But I do hope that they cook today to beat one of the other like more prominent teams in the division. Also on the other side, I'm also very, very curious what Timmy, Temple, I don't know who else is like maybe involved into making strats. What they cooked on Valley Fortress. I think Valley Fortress is one of these maps, by the way, that provide a lot of different opportunities of pushes, of counter pushes. For example, as we saw like in the Rough Justice match today, having this green unit Sally out onto B. These type of things are possible. And that makes Valley Fortress nowadays a map that I consider pretty balanced and interesting. Which was not the case back in the day when I prepared for my first CBL experiences. I always thought that Valley Fortress is absolutely defender-sided and not winnable on attack. That changed a lot with the overall skill level in competitive going up. Oh, Cameron getting kicked out. I do hope he's coming back as soon as possible. My heart always drops when I see this blue writing in the middle of the screen. Okay, what else do we have? We have a lot of flames, 3 flames on Enclave side here. So every push they want to play a flame. Okay, that speaks for less double unit play on a lot of these players maybe. In general, also not like that, like fully deep warbands. A lot of players only 3 units on Enclave. Same on the other side at NoScrim, but they're not trusting in that many flame players. So far, only 1 flame unit locked in. Maybe Chimeran has the other, because I do think 2 flame units might be the way. Also, welcome MP700. Welcome to the chat and welcome to the stream. Okay. We are setting ourselves up here on the top left. And I hope mouse speed I think is okay. So we're getting a more smooth transition as always. And we're heading into like the tower pushing phase. That is not my favorite phase of the game. But we do see a light Sally out here. That makes the tower phase more spicy and maybe win some time. I do think they will retreat these calves again and just take like the 20 seconds they might have won. Because there's no way to punish this team with Cav. The one Cav player here retreated a little too late. Now has to yeet in. That's Maxi, that was not the greatest Cav charge you've ever put up in your career. Let's see, a lot of units here towards the front. Also some Cavs here for Enclave. That might be a delayed Sally. I don't know if Enclave was not really on the same page with the delayed Sally / Sally bait or full Sally. I think that's the 3 options. The team needs to really clearly communicate what they are pulling off. Because sending out only 2 players, or 3 players, sorry, 3 players. Here we see the 3rd one. Also trying to do something, not really achieving something. I do think they planned this whole thing differently. But nice assistance by the Polex player here to assist his short sword friend coming up. Temple Shot really tried to help his friend, but he will pay with his life for this one. Good idea, but also a little late putting up these ladders for his friend to retreat. And we still see very slow tower pushes, guys. I mean, as much as these cavs spiced up the tower phase just by a little bit, in the end, it just delayed the action. Come on, guys, hurry up, push the towers. I want to see some clapping. And here we see the very common Enclave retreat to the supply point. Also, no heroes. Okay, but we have some heroes on the wall that might sneak in a little trap. By the way, that's always a danger if you're sitting on this supply on top here in the retreat phase. If the towers are already hit and you're not controlling the space here on the top at all, and you have no idea if there's heroes, do not AFK your units on the supply. You might eat a sneaky trap. And maybe on units where it really hurts. Because if you lose, for example, a special at this point that you randomly pulled, for example, you might die here. By the way, putting range and specials here or pulling them from this base supply and keeping it in the backline, very good thing to not get suicide dived. That makes sense. And we see a full team rotation on the bottom to capture the B point. That would leave them open to a sally out. But I do think Enclave, at least for now, the setup is not looking like a sally out setup. They only could pull a last second switch. They have a lot of heroes around the supply area, so they could, if they wanted, to do some either infantry or cavalry based sally out. Cavalry based sally out would have not been the worst timing, since the only Modals are running away. But Enclave is going for the very solid and less spicy variant of just holding down there on the bottom or like on the middle of the stairs. Pretty solid defense position. No traps available because these two beautiful towers are blocking off most trap lines. I do think we have to swap here to the attacker perspective, so we can keep track of everything that is happening here in the fight, in case they are starting to use multiple attack angles, like both stairs, maybe even the top wall. Or do they commit to a full 15 push here towards the main stairs? It doesn't look like it, taking space on the left top side while leaving some units here on the main stairs. I do really appreciate it. A classical split with one main blob and one side action. I do like it so far. Taking a lot of space on the C point here with heroes preparing the hero deathmatch, and they're also putting the units in. Solid rotation trap, but Enclave did not move at all. What is the Enclave reaction here? It looks like they do not care about the C point and they do really just want to sit on the supply. But it looks like NoScrim is immediately pushing towards this end cap, and maybe that was the trap that was set up by Enclave, because they look very ready for this and they're immediately moving in here. I'm still not quite sure if this is the strat, because like these traps can hit very, very dangerously, at least here into this side. But on the upside for Enclave, their flames are super solid in the gate and can cook the whole blob of NoScrim. And NoScrim keeps fighting into this flammable area, and it looks like they are getting cooked. Also, the trap is very late. The trap is not hitting hard enough, and NoScrim got absolutely punished by the trap Enclave was setting up for them. Very, very interesting. That's definitely something I do like to see. If these teams are cooking some little mind games and some new plays, And we didn't see it that often that teams intentionally drop the C point fully without contesting it at all. But now the question is, do they ensure the supply to be free so they can reinforce their lines here and deny the immediate repush? What are these AFK sheets here doing? And a lot of shields of NoScrim now walk into the main stairs. Who is also, but big hussars here from the top, making it semi-deep, but not punish enough because they're mainly on the left side, not hitting the main blob. And also do not really use their lance advantage as much because of the height difference on the stairs. So these Star Wars hold very strong against the hussars, and more Cav is getting flooded down. But Enclave has a lot of units left here. And these Star Wars blobs from both sides. At least one Cav made it kind of into the back. Come on, guys, you need to pull it through. Very good Cav here by Tyke, even if it was not like the full force of the Dagger X. But getting into these backs of the Star Wars is very important. Also, none of the Star Wars players actually reacted, and I think like one of these players here in the back should have turned against the Cav still. And that way, NoScrim is slowly but surely making their way up the stairs here. And we see now Unique with his Cav hitting a very, very good timing here. Also very interesting to see that both teams are playing kind of similar warbands and relying on the same strat. Lob up Star Wars and crazy yeet of Cav. But it looks like Enclave has the better warbands to do so, at least for now, because they keep yeeting one of Cav after another in to the NoScrim blob, and they still have a very high unit count available. And now they have Trina on the flames here, cooking the flame blob. But the flames got taken out. And once again, NoScrim here, tanking another Cav. But Cav did not make it really through. So yeah, once again, the very dense blob of Star Wars was holding strong. And they're calling in for a soft reset, it looks like. Because they also saw that trading like this on the main stairs, not getting them into a better position, because Enclave has more units, and if they burn each other down 50-50 on this main stair all the time, they will end up with less units, and they will just get farmed then. So very good call for a soft reset. And now they are going for, it looks like small stair, I hope not. I mean, if they play flames, they should... I'm not a fan, guys. No. I'm not a fan of using flames in this position there. Double musket already on the way to find these flames. This is exactly the reason why I'm not a big fan of playing flames in this position. And also Trina here with the flames on the top, cooking the main blob of NoScrim. Trap also being kind of late. And the trap also not in a position where it's hitting the flames, but a very good and solid hit into the infantry. Oh, that was very close. Nearly hit the flames as well. But NoScrim is very surrounded here, and the unit trade only got slightly better for them. But now woof. With a massive Yan Yudao clear, and this is exactly what they wanted in the first place. These huge Cav wipes when the shield blob is holding strong. And it looks like now they finally got a very solid hold on the top here. And NoScrim is now killing the last units of Enclave here on the supply. And Enclave is calling in for the retreat. They have the superior unit rate still. But do they have the right units left? I mean, their warbands were less expensive, so most likely they have a lot of filler units. And we see NoScrim again with the very immediate aggression onto this end cap. And now the question is, which side is reinforcing the fight here on this end cap faster? I think that's the correct call by the NoScrim, by the way. They definitely needed to go fast because they're not having the units. But now huge cav here into the arriving reinforcements. They didn't make a lot of cav points in the meantime. Cap points, sorry. Because Bouncefire was holding strong here on the point with his tower shields. But the 1-by-1 drip-ins by Enclave, they really, really hurt them. Unit trade-wise. And now they're nearly pulled even. Good pings on the point by NoScrim, taking out these heroes methodically. But Enclave now coming back. The block definitely paid off and they managed to get the Flames back onto the battlefield. Flames get immediately attacked by all the heroes of NoScrim. They know these Flames need to go down. But Enclave coming back very, very strong. The sacrifice of Bouncefire definitely set them up here for a good reverse sweep. But now they need to get back onto the point with all the units. And they need to start killing the rest of NoScrim's units here. These Rattan Shields by NoScrim, they are definitely a big threat still. Dealing this ridiculous poison damage and making the deathmatch harder. Unit rate is absolutely 50-50 by now, and it's both teams are absolutely on the last reserves and they are fighting for their lives. But it looks like NoScrim is way more compact now. And they're focusing down the heroes one by one, way more effective. They also have like 2 experienced dual blade players that are targeting also together one player after another, getting these very important picks. And that's definitely the scenes where having a dual blade is very, very beneficial. As much as I said dual blades are not that useful anymore in the Bast casts, this 50-50 unit end cap deathmatches, this is where dual blades shine a lot. Especially play the no ultimate bomb build, so much resources to PS, and they did that to massively help it secure this. And guys, this game is definitely holding up to the, at least I had point very, very entertaining. Yeah, here definitely take MVP. I think he definitely brought out that like huge wide with you Kev there, enabled the sea supply take massively corrected this trade. I think without him, I think it's not trade. Without him, that wouldn't have been won by him. They played like, MVP because not only got them, also did the most impactful kills that got them really onto the sea platform. On the side, I think he worked a lot with his names. I would say also like huge performance here, outperforming most by a lot. As always, the awards here are very, very mixed up. So yeah, don't rank these players by the scoreboard because they're broken for the spectre mode. And also, as always, if the scoreboard position doesn't that much, because often there are jobs people need to take for the team to reward you with kills, give your team security opportunity to win. So yeah, very short break, and we're going then out in the second game and see NoScrim maybe defending the map, or if they're not. And welcome back, everyone. Holy shit. Guys, I definitely need to get myself a drink of a cool drink after this amount of action. Really entertaining first match here for NoScrim. Taking the very close victory here on the attack. I quickly displayed for you the unit bans and saves again, so you just catch up on what is saved for the second match. And we are already going back into the cast screen to see the lobby, because it's already set up. All teams are in, and we should start in the very next time. Also greeting to Preklara. I can definitely feel that you are sweating. That was actually really close of a match. Oh, sorry guys. I don't know why the voice is laggy. I think it has to do something with the new software I had to download for my microphone. Yeah, I do think it fucked up something. So yeah, I'm very sorry for it. The problem is I do not know how to, when it triggers, because very often it's very fine, and then it starts lagging a bit again. So yeah, I will definitely have an eye into it and try to fix it. And we are popping back in for game number 2. And also Yorkshire Pudding, welcome buddy. Thanks for the follow and the support. Okay, warband wise, we do not see that much of a change for now. Also, both teams look very similar in their choices. I think the biggest difference here are the Zealots on Temple. That's definitely a unit that is in a weird spot for me. I do think they're pretty strong in skirmishes against shielded units. But I do not really see them succeed a lot and people picking them a lot. And I also myself did not really feel the temptation to pick them up and try to use them to maximum efficiency. So yeah, like definitely unit is in a weird spot. I would also be very interested, guys, in if you have if a lot of experience on the unit, maybe you spent it a lot this season. Yeah, let me know, like if you think it deserves a bigger appearance on the competitive stage here, or if you think they're below average, they're not exceeding the expectations. And also Yorkshire Pudding, thanks a lot, man, for your Prime sub. I do really appreciate your support. Okay, and back into another tower pushing phase. Also, by the way, guys, 9 follows to go, and we reach a full 100, a full 500. I would definitely massively appreciate it. So in case you didn't follow, just hit the follow button. We see a very left-sided stack here for the pushing. So they might just want to go really fast onto the wall. Which could be a very standard way of pushing, by the way. A lot of teams, to prevent sally outs here in this area, they're immediately going here to the top, playing from this corner, where they can just hero play on the B point maybe, or push towards the C point over the wall. because like on the wall they are not prone to getting absolutely clapped by sally outs with Cav. That might be the reason they're already stacking here on the left tower. They're also enabling a pretty secure pull of special units on the supply. Because pulling on this supply is very often more dangerous, especially when on the top the opponents are spamming range heroes and range units. So yeah, securing this left side opens a lot of opportunities to be more secure. So far, nothing very special. I think that's one of the parts that is very sad, by the way, about Valley Fortress. Valley Fortress is a map that is, so huge. And we are very often only playing half of the map. Because a lot of the action, like in this like huge area here and on the inside, on the B point, etc., or on the wall, is mostly never used in the competitive matches. So I do wish this map would get a slight rework to make fighting within the city maybe a little bit more interesting. But I do think it's a structural problem and not a meta problem. Because I'm not seeing any like unit constellations right now where I feel like they would immediately force teams to play more inside the city or more towards the A cap. So they definitely need to make a change to the map. One thing I come up with is maybe not making the B point, like position it maybe differently, and not open it up to cap while A is open. Maybe that would be an idea. While also maybe moving some houses. It could make it more interesting. But yeah, back to the action here. Both teams are now set up. Defender side especially, in the standard semi-loose spread here to not get trapped fully. And Juba, thanks a lot for the follow. I do really appreciate it. Flames are also getting hit in the back. In general, a good thing to not get poked by the muskets before the fight, but also very dangerous because they have to pass through the very likely trap area. Because like if these teams start pushing, they will immediately trap around this area here. And yeah, the Flames need to pass through it. That's very dangerous. Fire archers sending some arrows over. Not the greatest trap. In general, like trapping roughly around here if you're not starting to push is not a good idea. This is also maybe not the best trap, but I see why they want to do it maybe. NoScrim also very, very careful, not committing very early to the actions of Enclave. And now they're in right after the trap is down. And the Flames start cooking very, very beautiful Flames here. Very, very good cooking here into the blob. But Toxic Mad and the longsword Benny is also on there. And the Flames get taken out. No supply block so far. Come on, Enclave, where is your supply blocker? Blocking the supply on this map is absolutely crucial, guys. You cannot allow the defenders to pull double. Even if you're just trying to get a trade and go for a clean reset afterwards. If that is your intention, even then you should block the supply just to make the trade a little less punishing. And also waste the time of the defenders for their reset. So they are less likely to maybe sally out on you guys while you're respawning, etc., etc. So yeah, that's one of the fundamentals I definitely like to speak about. For every newer team, focus on fundamentals like supply blocking, basic unit mechanics, and composition. trap locations, etc. These things get you way further than any spicy, crazy rotation tactic. Learn fundamentals and execute them well. That will get you like very, very far. Or how we saw also in the Rough Justice match, where APM basically also refused to block this supply here on the plateau. You just get murdered by double units that get pulled right into your face. So yeah, let's see. Enclave going for the same push again. Maybe they feel like they can now do a better job when it comes to the traps. Because the traps in the first fight did not really make that much of a difference. I am not a fan of this trap. Like, I don't know how they came up with this idea. Why do you trap here? They did it the second time, so there must be a thought behind it. Someone must have told them to do exactly this trap. And guys, I'm not a fan. Also, once again, trapping here on the weaker side of the enemy makes no sense. Not in my books, but at least it hits hard. They definitely should have trapped the other side where also the flames were located. That side was also better accessible for most of the traps. Little fundamental issues, but that didn't hold them back. Enclave here with a good entry onto the C point. Now the supply is also blocked. And NoScrim has to retreat. Unit trade, more even than in the last game, for the most part. A lonely Poleaxe charm getting the business by the whole Enclave team. Also one very lost little Rattan swordsman fighting for his life, but both of them did not succeed. And we see both teams going for the slower build-up and a reset, which is definitely the correct choice here for Enclave to not rush here. Unit trade is even enough, so if they take a good next fight, they're in a good position to capture this end cap. They were also not in the best position to immediately start rushing. So that definitely makes sense. Side gate being opened immediately, that's also a good thing. But also, on the other hand, if it's closed, that's maybe something you have to consider. If the defender actually closed the gate immediately, they are blocked to open it for, I think, 40 seconds. And so this gate is then blocking the defender more than the attacker. And if you really want to like go for a pretty much one-sided push over here, etc., it might be worth it to let them keep this gate shut, because you can immediately smash it open with like 1 or 2 heroes, and you do not take a lot of time for it. Because right now, like all these like more in the back waiting units, they could definitely get caught by a flanking cav. But now we are going back into the main fight immediately. The Hwang here doing not very much. Shooting here in this thick wall. And if they eat the trap for it, very, very good trap here for Enclave. And the solid wall of steel did not really get ticketed by the Hwang. Hwang are not the best sheet breakers anymore. I mean, they were never crazy at breaking shields, but I think they got further nerfed on it. And they definitely do not succeed into imp shields. Also, very, very interesting close hold here by NoScrim. Oh, Chainard down. And Chainard hopefully dead. Yes, good reaction by NoScrim here. 6 minutes on the clock. What is Enclave doing? They're getting caught up in a lot of little skirmishes here. I definitely do like that NoScrim is using their heroes a lot. I think that's one of the upsides if you have a lot of experience. Also, maybe also old school players that are more used to playing the hero a lot. So they're definitely getting a lot of time of Enclave by just consistently forcing them in the flank into little deathmatches, skirmishes, and creating some threat in the downtime. The hard part about this is then to realize when you need to stop the skirmishing and focus on the main blob, because at some point Enclave will start pushing, and they have shown very solid synergy, and they push as one, they move as one, and they're in pretty fast. For now, they keep waiting. I'm very unsure what they are trying to do with these long waits, because they did not get any way with it. But now they're in, and they're getting two-sided here. They definitely need to decide where they're flaming, and the flame decision to the left side is the correct one. But immediate aggression here from the Poleaxe into the backline. Charm doing a very good job here at attacking. Even if there was a chain dart present, he got some of the flame models. I think it's only one flame model there. Two. One, two. Also, one are getting attacked by MP700. He's also not going down very fast, but I would say half of the run still survived, and these guys still put out a solid DPS. But it looks like it's not enough. Enclave here very compact. Slowly shredding through NoScrim. And now NoScrim, they need to do something. Unit rate is still even, but the positioning on the end cap. I hope they're not getting caught off guard. Enclave here very slowly taking the space, trying to stay compact. It looks like they got eaten up by the reinforcements. Very strong comeback from NoScrim with the reinforcement rotation. So yeah, now the time is getting low. It's only 3 minutes left, and Enclave wasted 2 minutes prior to this, at least 2 minutes, for not pushing, where they did not achieve anything in the meantime. They did not hunt down specials, they did not poke, etc. So this might bite them in the ass in the end. Because now Enclave is not the fastest team from what I see here. They take a lot of time to build up, to like really stack into one blob, so they can strike as one force, which in general is not the worst. But at some point, if you are climbing higher up the leaderboard, you need to improve your speed. You cannot waste so much time, because just imagine they get back into this like death matching situation, like NoScrim did in the last game. They need the time to kill these heroes, because heroes like short swords, they do not die during iron sights. So you need to wait out the iron sight and kill him then. And now we are getting back here in the fight through the small gate. I'm not quite sure if this is the right call, but Enclave have shown they are pretty strong when they are very compact and stacked up. So these narrow spaces might favor the unit comps and the type of players they have. And Enclave here once again looks very successful in this tight spot, and this could be the end. Why is this Kev running into the braced phalanx? Come on guys, you can do that better. I see that you have a time issue, but it's not an excuse to rush into phalanx with your Kev head on. Reinforcements by NoScrim are coming. Unit rate is even, and now the clock is ticking down. And now we're exactly running into the problem I was already teasing. The time for the attacker is running low. And these shield units, they die slowly. NoScrim has these spear sergeants on the point, and they die so slowly. And they also have a lot of heavy players. heavy players that are definitely capable of surviving on this point. And it looks like Enclave is really winning unit-wise, slowly but surely. But the time is running out. And I would be so mad if I was them in the end. Because they did so many things very, very correct. But not using these 2 minutes did cost them definitely 100% their chance to win. In the end here, also unit trade getting evened out by NoScrim once more. But yeah, guys, very, very unfortunate. And Enclave, guys, you put up a great fight. GG's to you guys. But work on your speed and work on these traps when you're attacking. And then I think you'll come back way more dangerous. And nonetheless, Trina once again VP here. I do see him once again on the getting value for his team. And Omo Shiroi, other side, with 100 unit kills. But one flame. 4 flames here on Woof. I like the glaive, the glaives are very important to reading skills. Also, great job at the 5 flames. Miki also with a very, very strong performance, 75 shots. I think that's based on the flank. I MVP for him. And yeah, low scoreboard is because of messed up scoreboard. Very sorry, guys. I'm not going too deep into this scoreboard because they are so up. But yeah, each everyone very win here for NoScrim. Taking it 2-0, that was definitely not as once the score might have looked. GG's to both teams, entertaining. We're going into a break, so I can read my voice feeling so much a little bit, and then we will be back with our second game of the evening for the third game of the evening. Get yourself some, go to the toilet, and we will be back. Okay, and we are back here. I do hope I could fix the problem with my lagging voice. I think I've identified the problem, if it's already solved now. So please let me know. I will quickly also update the units that are banned for the next game. Because we have Altrushi versus Story Enjoyers up next. Just let me get quickly into the password and into the lobby. Okay. Also, guys, let me know if my voice is loud enough. I think that's the other thing we always need to play around with a little bit. The lobby is slowly filling up. And yeah, we can start speaking about the units that are getting saved and banned. Story Enjoy is definitely interesting here with a somewhat Phalanx save. I mean, currently there is an alternative with Modaos possible. That is also leading up to a lot of discussion if Modaos are now strong enough to justify using them over Phalanx. Yes, no, maybe. That's definitely a very, very broad discussion in the community that at least I hear a lot. Also on Altrushki side, very interesting. A banner guard save. I don't know why in the world you're saving this unit. Because maybe they have definitely cooked a strategy that relies on it. But I also do think that if you save banner guards, you're basically showing that you want to play a strategy that is based on it. Like maybe Reapers, maybe also a mix of Reapers and Zealots. Which could actually be. Then bans, Shenjis, Siphonaris, Rattan Brown Shields. Impikes, also very interesting from Story Enjoyers. Rattan Vipers and Star Wars. I mean, classical bans of very core units, special units. I think that makes sense. Do I think one of these bans really hurt one of the teams? I do not think so. I mean, that's also one of the things, like in the current time. I think that a lot of units have semi-solid to good replacements. So a ban is not necessarily like taking out a certain playstyle or idea fully. So I don't know. I think the special bans are the only very impactful bans. On other units, not that much. I think sometimes they make the war bans harder to play. French Flair 92, thanks a lot, man, for the follow. I do really appreciate it. I think we have spoken enough about what units are banned, which units are available, and we are coming back to the main screen. Looking into these rosters, I guess a lot of you guys know these players. Since we are in the first division, I think most of these players are playing a lot of the game. You see them in-game a lot, and you maybe see them also a lot on the top of the scoreboards. A lot of very known names. Maybe the spiciest name, or maybe the name that is the most interesting for me, at least on the Story Enjoyer side, is Schnitzkopf, because he was, in the past seasons, he was shot calling for his own team. And then him moving into another team where someone else is taking the lead, in this case Mask Flames, is very, very interesting. And I think one of the more spicy roster changes. Story Enjoyers, I think, also went through a lot of roster changes, like every season, I think. Like Story Enjoyers, I think, is one of these top tier teams that changes their roster a lot. Like, I don't know, like on the other hand, for example, like if you see Rough Justice basically not changing their roster or just like very minor changes, and very often even just a back and forth between certain players that like drop in and out of the roster. Yeah, Story Enjoyers is definitely massively swapping out the roster, and they are still always very dangerous and competitive. So the whole structure that Mask Flames is setting is definitely effective and makes them dangerous. Like it doesn't matter that much, like which players they put in. At least from my outside view, Itushki being a main Russian team, also now having Andruban in, very, very, very interesting as well. Because I think Andruban did not really want to shot call anymore in Why So Serious, or like in general. So he stepped down, and I think he found another team where he can enjoy the peace of not shot calling a little bit more. And Itushki started pretty strong. For a new made team last season. I think last CBL, I think that was their first tournament they appeared. And they had a tough group, but they definitely have shown that they can compete on a high level. So I'm very curious which team is here showing dominance, or if one team is even showing dominance, or we just might get a very evened out game. Krigi asking if the banner guard is a troll. I mean, you can double charge Reapers with it, which is in theory good against shields, but it also might be just a troll / bait to bait Mask into playing, especially against these threats. But to be fair, I don't know. I personally would not really draft my team fully different just because I fear double Reaper charge. Or some crazy Zealot stuff. Also, we are seeing not really banner guards and banner guard unit combos, so it was either a bait or a troll. Yeah, maybe they just didn't know what they really want to save, or they felt like saving something else would just give away what they want to focus on. I think main difference here is that we see a lot more Shield Maidens on the side of Story Enjoyers and some more Orochis on the side of Altushki. Both teams do also trust in Modaos, at least a little bit. But Itushki with more Modaos and less Phalanx compared to Story Enjoyers. Very, very interesting minor details, at least for me. We also see triple coconuts for Story Enjoyers, so that's definitely one of their core specials. Also with cannons. I mean, personally, I do not like cannon blob gameplay. But in competitive, I think there is a lot of solid counter moves and ways to approach it. So they are not breaking the game in competitive, at least. So let's see what both teams are cooking. Especially Mask being known for being creative on his threats. And warbands. That is definitely something I look out for, that I do really enjoy watching. Because they give us new spicy stuff. And we see an immediate war rush by Altushki, being afraid of the Sally out. And it looks like, the Sally out is not really coming. I think, did they come? Did they not come? I don't know. I'm not a fan of this half Sally into the already set up Blue crossbows, definitely very, very strong triple crossbow setup. Punishing here the sally out. What are these Kev charges into the wall? I don't know. And Aitushki make it into the gate. Being closely stacked. But with story enjoyers, you never know. Sometimes these strategies that look like crazy int, sometimes they have a deeper meaning. Mask Flames definitely had already plans that were going over multiple steps to set an opponent up. And currently, it kinda worked. It forced the trade in this gate. And it wasted some time on the A point already. Unit trade also did not go down the shitter, so even if it looked very, very questionable in the beginning, it didn't turn out terrible. And now I feel like Aitushki is a little bit off tempo. I think that's maybe one of the biggest upsides of these type of moves. If you are shaking up the game plan of your opponent, it might desynchronize their gameplay. It might make them panic a little bit. So I'm definitely a fan of this move in the end, because it definitely shifted the pace of the battle and might put Aitushki on the left foot, or on the wrong foot. Let's put it that way, more accurate. And we are now back to an A hold that is maybe trying to kill towers. In an ideal world, they will now just take up the cannons, shoot down this tower. If they manage to do so against the longbow. But then they also need to take down this tower so they can force them into bad one-sided pushes. But they're not doing so, because I think the risk is too high. Because if you're putting your cannons somewhere here, you have high chance of just losing them to a trap. And maybe the time pressure with only 5 minutes left is enough to bait Aitushki into a push onto this A-cap. Good hero aggression here, but also very, very sloppy play by Aitushki players here, getting picked off before the fight, wasting more and more time, precious time they definitely need. They have no time to waste, guys. Do not die before pushes if you're not achieving anything. And especially if you do so, do not die alone. Like, if you want to suicide as a team. Because if one of your guys is down, you are not winning the next push, most likely. Not if your opponent is capable. And here we also see the beauty of the Coco pick. If they force them into a tower fight, these Cocos will be absolutely crazy. But here on the far outlying tower, no Cocos are near them. So that is definitely just the stalling side of things, at least for now. Good split, by the way. Good fundamentals here by the players of Story Enjoyers to split up here over the wall to not get trapped. Very good fundamentals. And there you definitely see already the difference between them and a Rustic Division team. But now Aitushki being stuck here on this tower, where the cannons can shoot them and the Cocos can throw. I do not know if this is the best waiting position. The other tower already engaging. We are taking a little bit of a broader view here. But it looks like Story Enjoyers is purely infantry-based, wrecking this side. And as long as they're not getting a massive trap inside, they will be winning. And these players got 100% the communication that the trap was on the A point. So they know they have now 10 seconds more where they're unthreatened by a trap, where they can just infantry farm here. Slowly but surely, these shield blobs are biting into each other and taking each other down slowly. It looks like a slight advantage for story enjoyers. And I do think, guys, that Atushki did not expect this A-hold. As I said in the previous game we watched, A-holds and playing inside the city is not a very, very common strategy among most teams, especially from players that have the most experience in the ranked mode, where the A-hold is basically a forbidden thing. But now Atushki made it through onto the wall. Schwein, the captain, making it into the double Kokos here. But not all of them go down immediately. Some of them can throw, and a massive safe trap. Now the benefits, I think, is still more on the attacker side, because the trap also hits story enjoyers. But they wiped out the front very, very hard here. And they get another reset. Supply blocker also got killed immediately. Good fundamentals blocking the supply, because this supply is very, very close. If you are fighting on this A-cap, by the way, it's very dangerous, because this supply here on the bottom left is super, super close. So they can permanently reinforce, and your supply is further away. Also, the other problems, they have a backup supply here, where someone can also pull, and they also have another backup supply here on the top they can use. And now the panic of Atushki. The panic of Atushki forces them into running mindlessly into this A side, and they're getting punished now. Now they will just die one by one by one by one. And time, once again, being a precious thing. And Mask Flames, yeah, in the tradition of how his strats worked also in past CBLs and other tournaments, abusing the factor time more than any other team captain I've ever witnessed. Very, very smartly thought out plan here. And Atushki definitely playing to the story enjoyers' advantage with how they acted, how they decided where they want to fight. So yeah, very well executed and interesting strat here on the story enjoyer side. I do not see the cap here on A and B will not work, but also even if they kept, the unit rate is already horrible. So yeah, that is a pretty safe GG call here on story for story enjoyers. Already spawn farming. Yeah, very, very strong. And I do think, I mean, I made the call that this like semi Sally was part of a bigger plan that Mask might have thought through and set up everything to his advantage. And in the end, yeah, time is running out as he wanted. And even if he did not win the unit rate as he managed to win with his team, that would have been brutal time-wise. So yeah, GG's. Strong MVP by Zenga. Taking also out 3 cannons. And mostly shields and phalanx. Which is a sign of him fighting just in the blob in the main fight. The rest of the scoreboard I'm not going too deep in, because it's basically screwed up. On the other side, Andruban here as the MVP, I guess mostly due to support points. Kills also on the higher end of his team. Hosei at least got 5 cannons, 1 Koko. But yeah, not enough to make his team win. Also one player, like several players with very, very low kill score here on Atushki. Also some of the names that I think are a little bit less experienced. So yeah, maybe they were overwhelmed by the general level of gameplay here in this lobby. Also, or they had a very unthankful job into these fights. We might know when we watch the game a second time. But until then, we're going to a very quick break. Get yourself a snack, and then we will be back with game number 2. And we are back with our second match. That decides if story enjoyers are taking the 2-0 or if it's a 1-1 draw. Lobby is slowly filling, so as long as we're waiting for the lobby to fill and we can start, we are taking a second look at the unit bans and saved. Just if you just turned in or forgot what is banned or what was banned in the first match, just have a quick look here. And maybe the most interesting ban here or save was the banner guards that did not have a showing in the match. As always, it was discussed in the chat. It must have been a troll or a bait. Unfortunately, we did not see a spicy banner guard something strategy, because I think if they would have cooked something around the banner guard reset, they would have used it on attack. I'm pretty sure. I do think that like a Reaper reset or whatever strat is not the answer for defense. At least my prediction so far. I mean, as always, I'm very happy if I get proven wrong with someone pulling up an idea that I do think doesn't work and they succeed. So yeah, dear teams, dear team captains, come and surprise me. Make me look stupid because I did not correctly predict it. Show me that there is something I do not know about the game and teach me. But also, I will only learn from it if you pull it off against someone who is definitely very strong. I mean, certain strategies will work if you massively outskill your opponent. So, yeah, cook something crazy and make it work against an opponent that is on your level. So I get more enjoyment from watching this. Okay, lobby looks filled enough that we can slowly transition and look into the roster again, and the lobby should pop very soon. At least what I hope. Okay, everyone looks ready, so I hope they're starting the lobby very soon. Let us quickly check the ready check. Okay, it looks like at least story enjoyers are ready. Atushki may be making some last second adjustments, because maybe they felt like the unit composition was not working in their favor and they need to adapt something, or they maybe need to rethink their defense strat. I don't know. I think from a lost attack, you should not readjust your defense strat. So I don't know why they are hesitating to give the ready call. Because I do personally think teams should not overextend the time they take between the matches to really switch up things. I mean, it's in the interest of the whole tournament to not wait too long between the matches and make everyone wait. So I do appreciate that we start now and that we can stay on schedule. Unit-wise, both teams on cannons. Atushki also taking in 1 Coco unit so far, in opposition to the 2 Coco units on Story Enjoyer side. Warbands in general not looking too different. I think the matter of how to create these warbands is pretty set, abusing these very, very strong green units, especially here on the Story Enjoyer side. They're abusing a lot of strong green and blue units. Also very interesting, the triple Cav warband and the Queen's Knights. I think after the latest buffs, Queen's Knights have been very are now in a very interesting spot for these like solo flank players like Ripcats. And Preclara, thanks a lot, man, for your sub. I do really appreciate your support, buddy. Yeah, Preclara, let me know if like my voice keeps lagging out. I think I identified the problem, but I'm not quite sure. It's one of these problems that medically occur when you have to update your drivers, and some programs start having other interfaces with some other programs. In this case, like interface drivers with my SteelSeries GG. That is for my keyboard. It also has a potential of putting equalizers, etc. on your sound setup. And after the patches of these programs, the interaction changed. That might have been the issue, but I'm not quite sure. Just let me know. And guys, we are back in another very interesting tower pushing phase. Instant traps here on the artillery. Okay. I guess they know that they do not need all these 15 traps on the sea plateau, because on the Enclave, to be fair, like the traps are not the most impactful, especially in competitive. I think in Siege you can sometimes get a good trap, like here on the like middle road. On the very back, you can luckily snipe like 2 hits, 3 hits maybe when you're lucky onto a rotating unit. But in competitive, it mostly is not really working because of the different space taking. Yeah, Atushki here going immediately for the reset on the sea defense, so they're going for the more standard plan. Rotation also already being scouted by Story Enjoyers, and they immediately start capping the A point, not losing time. And as we knew, time is a very precious thing. Not on all maps, but definitely on this one. Also immediate, I think it's Ripcats, right? It must be Ripcats. Ah, it's so sleepy, okay. With the immediate aggression towards the B point, I mean, it's doable. It's a solid idea to do so, because you have so many options to escape with your hero. So yeah, trying to go for the aggressive caps to set up your team a little bit earlier for the push makes absolute sense. Also, Atushki not showing any aggression towards the bottom here. So yeah, that's a pretty safe build-up phase. Nonetheless, Story Enjoyers are pushing all the towers through. It also looks like they're opening the gate, which is debatable. Like, I mean, in general, on a lot of maps, it's good practice to make sure that you cannot get pushed out of the city, kind of. But I feel like on this map, I mean, you have, I think, 2 spawns that are already on the inside. And when you hit the towers, you do not need to make sure the gate is destroyed. But in general, yeah, I mean, keep good practice for all the maps up so people get used to it or stay used to it. So yeah, that's fine. Deathmatch here on the top left. that is also decided by story enjoyers. Better commitment, faster commitment, and the advantage of having a dual blade that thrives in these scenarios. And now they have the space, so they can immediately make the play and move forward. No one helping the musket. First, like, bigger mistake I've seen. Input's not getting supported by his teammates for throwing bombs into the crucial spots here. So he has to retreat, throw under pressure. So yeah, that's the thing also for all you guys in the first division. Now you need to start using your heroes more consistently, more often. Give your muskets cover, or on the other side, slap these muskets in the face so they are not throwing into your units and killing your precious, beautiful and amazing specials. These fire archers here from the top are doing a great job. Are they exploding the Kokos? No, they are not. Kokos being open. Missed opportunity. Maybe the guy shot a little bit too early, but these cannons are brutal. And the archers on the top and the longbow are not taking them out fast enough. They got a salvo off, and that already decided the left side of the fight pretty much. But Pumpkin's Kokos are also now gone. Almaflex here with a very, very good dive with his poleaxe. Yeah, but it looks like every action from Altushki being too late, good supply block, very, very high level here of coordination by story enjoyers. And yeah, there we see a difference in tempo. Like, strategy-wise, I think it wasn't the craziest mistake of how Altushki played it. They just did the basics way slower than story enjoyers. Story enjoyers here with a very, very clean execution of their plan. That also was not a crazy, crazy plan, you know? They just did the fundamentals very clean, very fast, and precise. And yeah, that is like maybe also already showing a class difference. I think story enjoyers looks very, very dominant here in this match. I said Altushki could compete on the highest level. But yeah, like this match, maybe an unlucky one, maybe just getting caught off guard on the attack. But yeah, here on this defense, they look even more dominated by story enjoyers. And they were basically playing their plan. Story enjoyers were not doing something super out of the world. Crazy. So yeah, they just got overrun by absolute better basic execution. Now you see the first thing that is more special. High ground taking by story enjoyers. They might try to get into a position where their Kokos can work into the specials. Also the musket here already on the way to bomb the cannons. Double cannon setup also here for Altushki. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I mean, nah. I mean, as much as like the meta shifted in a way that more specials are acceptable compared to like back in the day, I still think like double cannons is a big risk. And now here we see the absolute beauty of cannon blob fights, where a lot of people have to die while some players are shooting back and forth. And we see a good rotation here by story enjoyers, accepting that the other side has more cannons, but also that the other side has to move these cannons. And now they're in the way better position. A good execution here once again on story enjoyers. And only now the cannons of Altushki are in position. And if story enjoyers are smart, they call in for another rotation. Because fighting frontally into a double cannon stack is not the best idea. But maybe they are baiting shots. They have cheap units here in the front. Maybe they bait the shots. Didn't work perfectly. But otherwise solid timing, and now between the shots they're making it into your opponent. Once again, very, very good display of the fundamentals of the game. And now also the story enjoyer cannons are putting in a very, very brutal salvo. Good cav afterwards for the cleanup. And it looks like Altushki is getting absolutely sent home here with this very nice executed push. I definitely have to point it out once again and once again and once more. Like very, very outstanding execution here of fundamentals in the game. And that's a very, very clean take. Maybe one of the cleanest attacks I've seen so far in this tournament of a map where, the opponent just got systematically outplayed on every fundamental. Good rotations when they were needed. Crazy good fight timing, using the cheap green units in the front to bail out shots and tank the shots. Where these players, I'm actually quite sure that these players were also already on the way to the supply to get these reinforcing casts that hit at the perfect moment when the fight was ongoing for the cleanup. So not even a chance to go back and try the retake. So very, very, very strong performance here. And that definitely made clear that even with roster changes and the struggle of getting enough players, story enjoyers are definitely on the board for competing for the win. I predicted these guys are in, they want to win this tournament, and I think they have a very decent chance if they're performing on this very high level. We have support point-driven MVP here on the one side. On the other side, also Andruban. Not that support point-driven, but in general, the best kills out of a team that did really manage to get a lot of kills were played. GG's to both teams. I wish you guys come back strong next game. And we're heading into a little bit longer break, since the next game is starting in 20 minutes, roughly. There's also nothing I can really speak about for longer, because I did not think we saw something like outstanding or super interesting strategic level, so I can't nerd on it all the time. It just reinforced my statement of, focus on executing fundamentals, improve as a player if you play in these teams on these fundamentals, and you get on the level of story enjoyers. So let's head into this longer break and prepare mentally for the upcoming match, which will be, let me quickly check what I signed up for. The next match we are seeing here on the channel is Bandits versus Kermit. So stay tuned, stay engaged, and I see you after the break. Hello, hello, everyone, back from the long break we had to take. And we, as always, have to edit our band units. Now you should see the correct units on the display as long as we are waiting for the lobby to fill. We have 4 minutes until the lobby should be starting, so yeah, we are going slowly over the stuff. We see here Kermit with a Falconetti gunner save. A very, very awkward save. I don't know. Like, I'm not a really big fan of Falconetti gunners, but what I could try is something like a tower destruction strat. The also Falconettis could be interesting from the top of the long stairs to impact these fights. So yeah, potentially interesting. On the other side, for Bandits, a Shield Maiden save. As I said before, like, I do think Shield Maidens are maybe not the most crazy impactful unit on how the meta is played. So I personally would not save them. But I do think, in Bandits' case, it might make sense. Like, Shield Maidens are a very skirmish-oriented unit for the most part. And Bandits absolutely love to create chaos. You know, like the last time we saw them on Valley Fortress, they played, it felt like a 10-sided attack on the opponent's setup, created absolute chaos. And especially in these type of situations, I think Shield Maidens are very, very strong. So for Bandits, I think it makes a lot of sense to keep them. Also, the Line Raw crew ban is pretty standard for a lot of teams. Shenji ban also makes sense. Kermit also being very smart on taking away the Yanyu Daos from Bandits, because that's also one of the units they definitely like to use a lot to inflict their damage. Rattan Viper ban also pretty interesting, but also pretty standard. Bandits do not want to see Phalanx. That absolutely makes sense since they're mostly a Cav heavy team, or in a lot of matches. So if they want to play mobile with mobile infantry and Cav, yeah, banning out Stalwart Phalanx makes a lot of sense. Same goes for the Stalwarts, because these units are capable of holding these choke points. So the Shield Maidens and the Cavs, yeah, do not get the impact they can have when you have an open field and you're capable of circling around all the units, etc. So I think like Bandits, bans and saves already help predicting what they're going to do. Also, if you combine it with the knowledge of how they played in the past, and like how you guys know, like I definitely I'm a Bandits match enjoyer, because Bandits are also one of these teams that, even if they're not executing everything the best, and also they're not like stacked with absolute star level players, but they, even with a very fresh roster, they managed to pull out like interesting strats that are different from what the other guys are doing, and sometimes they're catching their opponents off guard. And yeah, at least for me, that's very entertaining to watch, even if they're not winning every game, and they also struggled a lot against like the top tier teams to get a foot on the ground against them. I do absolutely like how they play and how they entertain me. So that's one of the reasons I nearly always pick their games to watch them. Also, Kermit being also like on the weaker side so far in the tournament. I think they lost both of the matches prior to this one. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think that's more a duel on an eye level. I think these teams are not that far apart skill wise, and we most likely will see interesting match strategy wise from Bandits, and they have an opponent where they can definitely get through with it, and also they can opponent they can be confident about getting through like this. So yeah, lobbies popping, we swap into the casting screen. Clara asking what do I think about the Falcos. I think it was the Falco save. I mean, as I said, like I'm not the biggest fan of Falcos because I do think that their CC and DPS is a little bit on the lower end compared to the units currently available. Like to Shenji's or Flames or Cannons. But they can be interesting kind of for long range tower destruction strats. That's definitely possible. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like the only team where these Falcos kind of worked was Yerbadi. And Queen, thanks a lot, ma'am, for donating 5 subs to the community. Also hitting Chris, Prytos, Rajon, Reddy, and Venus. I think you hit the correct persons there with the 5 donated subs. I think these guys definitely deserve it, since they are also a lot on my channel and supported. So yeah, thanks a lot. Further extending your lead on the, all of time, like the Hall of Fame of donators. Thanks a lot. But yeah, like the Falcos, coming back to the Falcos, I'm not quite sure if the Falcos are a good idea, especially if you already also have Flames and Flames are available, because Falcos are not a good flame counter, and playing Kokos instead of these Falcos would be much better, because then you can also on top get a Rattan unit. Like Kokos and Rattan Pikes, for me, is superior to a unit of Falcos. Like in 99 out of 100 cases. And as I said, like the only team that looked kind of solid with playing Falcos was Yerbadi. But the problem with teams like Yerbadi, when they use these strats against teams that are weaker than them, it's for me hard to tell for me like if they succeed because they are Yerbadi and they are playing better, or if it's really the unit choice having a big impact. So yeah, Sally out here by Kermit, immediate action. Amazing. I'm hyped. This is exactly what I was hoping for. This is why I picked these type of matches. And yeah, we see Sally out combined with Falcos for the towers. Like I predicted, that's the only niche where I do see the value of Falcos, because you can have them in these like kind of untrappable places, because if you want to trap them, you need to get up on the wall or through the gate. They have the wall perfectly spread out, covered, especially with the dual blades on the long parts here. Very, very good. And the towers are getting low, perfect. Very, very good execution here. Waiting with the destruction, I hope. I hope no one is fucking it up, because this is one of the things that would get me absolutely mad in ranked games. For everyone who is maybe not that experienced of a player, if you shot these towers low, wait until they are here for destroying them, as long as you can ensure that you have something to destroy them in the end, like a musket bomb, a Jeff or whatever, to waste more time, because these towers respawn infinitely. So do not kill them here, do not kill them there, kill them here. Sorry, I had to get this off my chest because I see it so often so wrong in ranked matches. It drives me nuts. So yeah, also good positioning by the Falcos here, taking out the other tower as well. That definitely looks like Kermit is very well prepared for this match. They 100% tested out these timings and positions, but good contests here by the dual blade, good climb. Trying to get into Derowald's Falcos, and he got some and makes it out. Good action here by Lexo. And the tower reaches exactly with a very little amount of HP. That might have been due to the dual blades' heroic action. Okay, but the other tower is going down, and now Bandits have to work off this very left tower. The upside of hitting this tower here is that they can now threaten the inside of the city. So the Falco positions that were like formerly safe, like here and there, or like on this supply, they have now gotten massively more insecure. And that's very, very important, because Kermit, yeah, they do really now need to evaluate if they really want to continue the A hold. I personally would not commit for it. But it looks like... Nah, guys. Nah, this... Good choice by Bandits to retreat here. To not fight into the Coco Flame. And just hit the tower safely. So yeah, I do think if I was Kermit, I would drop. I would now drop and go to C. Because the win condition they wanted to set up, like the time waste and denying maybe one set of towers, and then maybe with the time pressure, just let, for example, this tower, or maybe this tower only, like only let this tower happen to reach. Like that would be actually the best way to play this if you want to stress people on the A hold. And if they retreat now, like they're already doing, they definitely ensured that they bought some time, some precious time, as we learned today. And I think that's good. If they do not lose this unit, I think unit-wise they did absolute great. Derowald looks a little bit lost here. Already Derowald is not having the easiest time, losing also his second infantry unit here, after losing half his Falcos. Not the greatest setup, but maybe it was a bait. Very nice sally out here by Kermit. Oh, I am so hyped. This is already... Yeah, I must say, this is already maybe my favorite game of the evening. These guys are cooking hard to entertain me. Very, very nice, aggressive sally out here with a full infantry gold setup. That's absolutely a ballsy all-in, but it's paying off. Bandits did not expect this. And as much as Bandits have proven to be a very innovative team that also would pull off these type of very aggressive strategies, they have not been experienced enough in a lot of situations to deal with this type of fast, immediate aggression. And I think there maybe, their lower experience on some players, is definitely affecting these situations. So yeah, very, very good instant aggression by Kermit here. I'm very, very happy to see this. I think Kermit struggled a little bit more in the past weeks, but what they are showing here is absolutely convincing and super fun to watch, guys. Please, Kermit, if you hear this, keep doing this. It's absolutely insane. It's super fun to watch, and it's definitely something where you can catch people off guard and play, even as a defender, on your terms. And I think that's absolutely masterclass of defending. If you are swapping if you're swapping the power structure or like the momentum, like if you're swapping the momentum to yourself as a defender and you're defending proactively and not waiting for the attacker to make a move, that is so strong because you're throwing off your opponent so much. Because most teams plan their attacks with the security of, we are defining the pace of the game. And then you say, no, you're not. And you can massively punish them. But Bandits now come with a very, very aggressive action here on the front. Also using the double Söldner for the silence. And it looks like it is paying off. Also very, very good block of the supply by the Bandits. Very, very good aggressive Bandit action here. But it takes time to clap this mains there. It takes maybe a little longer than they would have liked. But one set of Cocos is going down. The supply has fallen by now and will not get blocked by much longer. There's a chain dart, so the dual blade is about to go down. Because if he gets locked down one time, the Shield Maidens are going to end him. Now Derowald made it onto the point and died once again. But the dual blade keeps dancing. Very well executed to dodge all the aggression. But now he has fallen off and died, unfortunately. Su Liang back here, trying his best. And they bought enough time for a very, very good counterattack here onto the supply. But will it be enough? Bandits reinforcements are also arriving. The double Modao counter push. I'm not a fan, guys. I'm not a fan. Modaos are not the greatest solo hero unit, and they will lose 2 sets of Modaos for this upcoming Enclave fight. That might absolutely negatively impact how the game is going. But Kermit, they stick to their aggression. They do want to not give anything up. They are absolutely, insanely aggressive. Plunter here, even with flames reinforcing the fight. If this is going through, I'm actually surprised. Like, these open walking flames did not get killed. But now Sexy Pizza with the one-man army action here in the flames. Very, very good use of the Nodachi. The chaos is real, and not only caused by Bandits, but also by Kermit. Very, very interesting match of the abilities. Good support here by Silent Warrior from the top with the Kokos. And the supply is now blocked for the Bandits. Not as much of a problem because they have the supply on the bottom. And they just need the supply to not give Kermit units. Unit trade here still even. And Kermit keeps buying time. Also, thanks a lot, by the way, for the nice words in the chat. Thanks, Skybreak. Thanks, Preclara. I do really appreciate it. And now Bandits going for the deep flank through the spawn. A move that often pays off in public matches, like in ranked. But it's not the greatest move for these Hussars because they have to go around corners. You might get respawned on. And if you do not have a concrete plan, like what you want to find in this base, like certain specials, it's not the best idea. Because if you have these Hussars, and Bandits love their Hussars, this long road here is the place where you want to yeet through. And Hussars do crazy damage on this road. But the Modaos survive. And these Modaos are placed well in front of the blob to negate the biggest weakness, at least from my standpoint, of Modaos, which is their low range and that they have to be absolutely in front of the blob to stop the Cav, which makes their movement way harder than the movement of Phalanx, because Phalanx can stay in the blob, and Modaos have to stay in front of the blob. But yeah, Kermit pulls out a lot of units from their base supply and from their respawners, and manages another time to hold this supply. C point the whole time not taken. And now the time is starting to run low. 3 minutes left on the clock. But Bandits do not really waste time. They immediately get in position. Which is something that might get punished. Guys, it's Kermit and they've proven to be aggressive. If you're standing here, you might get counterattacked. At least that's something they could fear. And the Bandit players are maybe not respecting it enough. But maybe also they trust in the Kermit setup now, not really screaming counterattack. But that is something. Do you trust against it if the team surprised you maybe already 1 to 2 times with their aggression? Do you really do that? Especially when you're not gaining something from waiting here? Okay, but Bandits here back on the main stairs with a very soft split on the back and the little stairs here. Maidens into Modaos. Not working into double Modaos. But now Maiden and Impikes. That will definitely work. But the main stairs are losing too hard against the Falco setup. And now the Cav blood of the Bandit starts. And is getting some solid results. Considering there's basically only anti-Cav in the Kermit lineup. But of course, you're not winning hard enough with the Cav spam into these Modao walls. And now Bandits are yeeting Cav after Cav into these choke points. But yeah, in the end here, they got outdrafted. I think Kermit pulled off something very, very impressive here. In the first half of the game, I feel like they've taken Bandits by surprise with their choices of the fighting spots and with their tower defense strat and the smart and the smart rotation and reset to the C point. I think they definitely outclassed Bandits in this game with their macro management. And also the unit roster, especially for the late game. They perfectly predicted what type of units will be left in the end for Bandits, which is Kev. We all know it. So yeah, they put a lot of anti-Kev, and now I think the buffed Modaos definitely make a difference, because Modaos now have been improved so much against infantry that they can also be used as a like hybrid frontline unit, like they were back in the day. I mean, very back in the day when I was in Bandits, I also used Modaos as a semi frontline tank unit that also stops Cav. And I guess, yeah, we are back to using this, especially against these teams that tend to spam Cav a lot. Very, very entertaining, good match here, and GG's. Kermit taking the first win here with a very even unit rate, with a solid advantage in the end, but with a lot of good action. And I'm very hyped, guys. Like, for real, I'm very hyped now for the last game. I can't really wait it. So yeah, we're just taking a very small break. I'm drinking something so I can keep yelling and screaming because I'm so happy about exactly this type of compressed plate. And we will be back after a short break. And we are back in the second lobby. Game is about to be started, but I quickly wanted to remind you of what is banned, what is saved with the quick ban screen. By the way, glorious work by Crystal Valkyrie, like absolutely beautiful layout, and I think definitely an improvement to the enjoyability of the streams, providing us with this type of asset. So yeah, thanks a lot, and we are swapping over to the casting screen because the game is about to be started. A quick zip from my tea so my voice is staying kind of human and it's not getting scratchy. And I think then we are ready to pop into this next and last game for the evening. I'm hyped, guys. I am hyped. So far, I must say, like, this was for me the most exciting game of the evening. And I do hope game 2 is definitely reinforcing my point of view that this is the most entertaining game of the evening. I do not want to say the best, because I do think there's weaknesses in execution on both sides. But it's by far the most entertaining today. As much as I love to see NoScrim and what they're pulling off and to see their development as a team, and they are also very entertaining, that's why I also consistently pick their matches. But this, non-stop action here from Bandits and Kermit, it's heartwarming. This is the type of Conquest play I want to see all day, every day. And this is also the type of units I love to see. I love fast-paced burst units. And both of these teams consider making my dreams come true and give me a fast-paced, action-rich game. Special-wise, only one set of Cocos on the Bandit side. But the double... but we see our new tier 3 unit going for the silence. I'm not quite sure how good the silence is, by the way. I think that's maybe the most interesting thing about the unit lineups, because they didn't change too much compared to the first game. But do you guys, also in the chat, do you think that the silence has a huge impact? Because I do think that against most units, the silence is not doing a lot, because a lot of units do not need to press a lot of buttons during a lot of time frames in the fight. So so investing into this unit does not feel like the huge advantage. Also, fights tend to go so long with the shield meta that a silence period is not meaning that you lost. Back in the day, for example, when we had season 16-ish, the Queen's Knight Orochi based damage infantry meta that was very, very bursty for the most part. Being silenced for some seconds could have meant that you're dead the moment you come out of the silence. And such a unit would have maybe made a bigger difference. So you just run in with maybe Orochi and the silence boys, and then you silence opposing Queen Knights so they can't iframe your Orochi step, and you win. Something like this, right? But in the current meta, I think the silence is not long enough to make such an impact. Also, units that need to button smash, like Wues, for example, that consistently want to spam their skills, are not that present that you need to, silence them to burst them down. Because Wues, of course, if they can't spam their abilities, they are going down. A lot of units currently, they do not need to spam these buttons, and they do not get hurt that much by the silence. And also, and that's not meant as an insult, most teams are not on the level, I think, to perfectly execute a silence into damage, push, whatever, to really make use of such a thing. So I personally would rather stick to a set of Cocos, maybe even to Hellbards, blue Hellbards. Like, I mean, they've been slept on a little bit in the last seasons, but they are still a very solid unit, especially in these blobs to reinforce your second line, kind of, or like, you know, like being like 1 foot behind your shield front line. Also, a set of Rattan Viper, a set of Arbalists. Like, I mean, for example, like if you can have a set of Arbalists that is perfectly capable of absolutely wrecking every cav that thinks about like circling around your blob and coming from the flank. I mean, I rather pick these units for the way more consistent impact on battles. And yeah, that is something I say as a melee enjoyer and someone who's not really a fan of range units, gameplay wise, and also like for the state of the game. But yeah, Bandits are, as always, trying something new and experiment way more with it. So yeah, if you want, let me know in the chat how much impact it has from your experience, because I'm very torn on the whole topic, because I think it's not that long of a silence. It's hard to time it perfect. It's sometimes hard to like realize what unit you want to punish with it. So yeah, like let me know, guys, what do you think about this unit? Is it a useless gimmick, or is it actually goated and I'm missing on the crazy potential it has to win fights? Okay, as long as you guys are discussing in the chat and I'm thinking about whatever you said there, we are going here into the overview and await the glorious attack by Kermit here to the Bandits defense, where we finally reach the moment it might happen. Top left gathering of a lot of heroes, units being down on the ground and on the wall, so they might just try hero suicide. Or maybe try to pick some kills pre-fight. In general, like, it's really hard to get a lot of value against Bandits with suicides, because Bandits have the tendency to not really use specials. And their specials are the cavs that are strategically placed in the backline to hit from every angle, also on different timings. And now Kermit is starting the push mostly from one side, but they have a little split from Rattan Pikes and Kev that I absolutely like. Very, very solid combination. Okay, also one set of shields I missed. And Bandits also give the C point, something we have seen already. And I cannot perfectly remember. I think it's something they also did in the last tournament when they played Valley Fortress. And once again, we see the base rush. But is the base rush the real answer? I mean, this time the setup here on the top is not as reinforced with the flames. So maybe the setup for Kermit here is better than for our beloved NoScrim team. And Kermit's flames are definitely cooking here. But not for long. I guess they got split up and some of them got killed. Very interesting gate close here. Kermit definitely getting creative here with the map, and Bandits is now locked outside and they are getting killed on this end cap. And the Stalwarts are stubbornly blocking the entrance here. Very, very fast action. And now only the Bandits rejoiners and people that were on the supply are capable of blocking the base until the rest of the Bandits are arriving with their reinforcements from the supply point. on the sea level. And there's a lot of pressure now Kermit created. Very well executed. I think here we see the major difference between the two base rushers. The base rush from NoScrim got absolutely melted because of a very solid shield stack in the small gate with a flame set behind. But Kermit did not get stopped by the Bandits here. Bandits relied on the Kev there and not on flames. And that was definitely 100% weaker. And now this reinforcement spam from both sides is rolling in hot here on the end cap. But it looks like Bandits got a little breather. They managed to wipe off Kermit from this endpoint. But the unit rate did not go crazy for Bandits. And Kermit already kept half the end cap. And they have a lot of time now. They secured the C point. They have a full reset. They have 1,200 units and 9 minutes. But this end cap is definitely Bandits territory. It's a lot of wide open space, a lot of potential Kev angles. Here from the front, there from the front, here from the side, depending on where you come. Also here around the back, even here around the back, or the very long flank around. Like, Bandits have a lot of freedom here with Kev. And now the question is, do Kermit spam enough Modaos to catch all these Bandit Kevs? Because the magic of Kev is only one Kev is enough to absolutely murder a blob when it strikes from the right angle. And that's, I guess that's always the gamble like Kev heavy teams take. It doesn't matter if 3 Kevs get eaten, the 4th might absolutely murder everything. And now Kermit are moving in as one blob, only having the Zealots here waiting in the side on the wall. I'm actually not quite sure what they are doing. I think they're trying to go into the backline at some point, just to cause trouble. And they're already causing an over-rotation. Why are these Bandits committing at least 2-3 players towards this one Zealot guy and giving Kermit so much space on the point here? But Kermit is missing the momentum here. They're chilling a little bit too much for my taste. Because their teammates sacrificed his unit and his life, and they didn't take the space on the end cap. And now Bandits took out a player and can rearrange themselves around Kermit. And Kermit, they need to push out one side. Do not wait, guys. Do not wait to get eaten from all sides. Also, flames here pretty open in the front, while the majority of the blob is somewhere else. And Starburst sees this opportunity and immediately jumps to it. But Silent Warrior has the pin to punish. And now the flames got strategically and perfectly moved to cook the backside. Very good save for the flames. Who is that flame player? He's actually cooking hard. Planta is doing a very great job to keep these flames alive and cook the correct flanks. And that definitely wins Kermit the unit rate here massively. Now the reinforcing Bandit Kevs, they will come. We all know it. But will they be enough to overthrow all these Modaos that are stacked up but damaged? Every direction is semi-covered by Modaos, but they are all damaged. They are all reduced in size. And the first Bandit Kev is making it in, but not through. The Modaos were eating it. But now finally the flames die and the Rattan pikes are in. Also the flames look like to be empty. So Planta definitely did a crazy good job at keeping them alive and used the whole fuel tank to cook Bandits. The action continues. I'm not quite sure if they need to keep going here. Kermit can just take the reset, do a quick reset and do a proper repush. They have the unit lead. They still have 5 minutes, so they can push 2 times if they just reset for maybe 20 seconds. The supply block from Bandits very solid to deny the aggression. but Kermit have enough time to not get like pressured too much by the supply blocks there. They can pull off this reset. They have now 5 minutes. That's still enough for 2 pushes, especially if you have more units. Because always keep in mind, if you have more units left in the end, like your opponent has 0 and you have 3, deathmatching on the point is going fast, and you will be capable of killing a lot of people, especially with units like Rattan Pikes on the end cap that slow people. Also, Kermit have capable damage dealing heroes, like the longbow, which is nowadays, after the recent changes, a pretty solid hero killer when you hit. Also, their dual blades players, they are doing damage. And they are going now for a main gate push. It is allowed because Bandits need the space. They need to let them come and fight from all angles. That's how Bandits want to fight. And that's how they already prepared their setup. And Kermit just wants to stay compact. To protect their double Cocos. And these Cocos will definitely provide a lot of value against the Rattan Pike spam. But they need to hit the Rattan Pikes. So if the Rattan Pikes are spread out enough and they manage to kill the Cocos early enough, not every Rattan Pike will get hit by a Coco. But it doesn't look like it. Bandits just get absolutely murdered by this blob. This very heavy anti-cav stack paid off against Bandits. And I think maybe here we see a little bit of a problem when you as a team have an identity that people started getting to know. Bandits have been around now long enough that people realize they love to play like they play. Use cavalry, not use specials. And then this absolute massive anti-cav blob with specials was the dominating answer to this. Very well played by Kermit. Crazy aggressive defense and very solid attack. Second game for my taste, not on the excitement level of the first one, but a very, very worthy and good finish for Kermit. Yeah, well deserved 2-0 for Kermit. And also Planta here with a very, very good MVP. Well deserved for this crazy flame action. Like, absolutely amazingly played. Good save. Also with good help by Sunbreaker. That definitely need to take the credits. Because Planta's flames were a little bit too much in the front for the moment. And the moment they got jumped, Silent Warrior with his spin. Also, by the way, crazy 70 some kills. On the other side, Atagi, yeah, outstanding kills. Unfortunately, not enough to make his team win. Starburst here, the Gliss Flame Diver, who immediately the opening, we definitely have to highlight. Second here on the scoreboard, it might be due to the screwed up nature of the squad. But yeah, guys, that's it. We have definitely come to the end of this very long CBR evening that absolutely went by in a few seconds, at least for me. A lot of good games, a lot of, also good conversation and nerding about the game that we enjoy so much. And I have to thank you guys. And yeah, as always, I try to at least stream once a week in between. But as you know, it's in the last half year, it did not happen as much. And I'm very sorry for it. But yeah, currently my physical powers are still pretty reduced and often I need a breather after my scrims, etc. But yeah, we are working on it. So thanks for the support. Thanks for turning in. And I'm leaving you with the end screen for the next, I think, 3 minutes. So we can go out, raid someone and make him happy. And yeah, see you on the next Sunday.